Welcome to the Patricia Joe Grover Show, where we turn believers into achievers. And today, my guest is Jenny Ambrose. And so I'm going to read you a little bit about Jenny here. Jenny is a CEO. She's an award-winning designer running an award-winning design and science and technology company. It's called Puree Fantastico. I hope I said that right. Having worked with large Fortune 500 companies, you guys are going to know the names of some of these. We're talking Old Navy, HSN, Pop Sugar, L, American Greetings, Alaskan Airlines, 3M, Charles Schwab, Walgreens, and Reuters. I'm not sure how I pronounced that right. And thousands more across the last 14 years. Jenny understands the vast needs across the widest number of moving parts it takes for all this. Part scientist and part artist, and all powerhouse. This woman's all powerhouse. Jenny knows how to sync with her client's deepest voice and concerns and communicate the solutions of these as if they'd been present all the time. Because they have. That's what she says. So whether it's creative direction, design, illustration, copywriting, strategic building, content creation, or research and analysis, Jenny can handle it with grace, expertise, and unstoppable enthusiasm. So, welcome to the show, Jenny. That is awesome. That's so
Thank
exciting.
you.
I think I could use some of you. I think I
Oh,
could.
everyone could use a little Jenny.
There you go. Wonderful. Well, so I wanted, do you have anything right off the top that you want to talk about?
Well, I would love to start, especially hearing making believers into achievers, because I blend the scientific method and visual design like they are peanut butter and jelly. And for me, they go together perfectly. But when I started in my career, I cannot tell you how much resistance I was met with to blend things that for me seemed very integrated, very integrated. And so for the last 14 years, I've been doing these things. And even today, people will say, oh, that's impossible. You can't do that. That's impossible. My answer is I often have people tell me what I have already achieved is impossible.
Bravo, bravo. And let's go to this, because this woman, being a CEO of her company, having worked for some of these Fortune 500 companies doing things, this woman was a high school dropout.
Yep.
So and when you just said, from when people told, we're saying for you to do what you've done was impossible, I get goosebumps. This is a fabulous thing to be able to share with our viewers. So fabulous thing. So can you tell
I could
us
start
a little
there.
bit about what happened for the dropout?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I grew up in New Jersey. And when my parents were divorcing, my mom took my brother and moved to Florida. So I stayed in New Jersey because you don't take a 14-year-old girl away from her friends. But child abuse services came and took me away from my father's care. And even though I begged them not to send me to live with my mother, they did.
Oh.
And my mother is a bully. She has narcissistic personality disorder. So on top of uprooting my entire life, I was sent to live with someone who punished me for choosing just to stay with her friends. So by 15, I had 2 jobs. And I was working as a camp counselor because I love children. And I was working as a telemarketer because a 16-year-old girl on the phone is just going to be a good time. But being bullied at home and being bullied for being a Northerner and Jewish in a Florida high school, there's going to be like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. And so I didn't. And so it became, I don't need this. I don't need this crap. I'm going to get my GED. I'm going to figure out what I want to do, but I don't need this extra crap. And in that time where I got my GED and I was working as a telemarketer still, I taught myself graphic design. I didn't know it was graphic design. For me, it was making stickers and T-shirts for bands that I liked, and I couldn't get the T-shirt that I wanted. And I would start to get notes on my car. This sticker is so cool. Where can I buy it? I really want that shirt. Where can I buy it? And I'm like, nobody has a job making T-shirts and stickers for a living. So I just continued making things for myself, and I put myself through school for anthropology, love language, love culture, love communication. And I thought that was the serious path. Like, that was the responsible path. I loved it. Okay. Like, it's not a mistake. I absolutely loved it. I was invited to go on an architectural dig in Chichen Itza. And at the same time, my boyfriend at the time said, "You're really good at what you're doing on the computer. I bet you over a can of Coca-Cola that if you apply to art school, you would get in." I got in. So the same week, I had to make a choice. Do I go to the archaeological dig in Chichen Itza? Do I go to art school? I chose art school. Now, I paid my own bill. I have $100,000 in student loans. Don't regret it. Will never regret it. When I was going, my mother called me every week to ask me to drop out. Drop out. Drop out. Come home and live with me. You can come. And it's like, this is my dream. No, 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 no. And so I just was like, I hear you. That's your fear. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this work. And so even though the head of the graphic design department was like, you're going to fail as a graphic designer. You're never going to make it. It's not going to work for you. And it's like, I hear you, but my heart says, this is what I've been meant to do my entire life. How are you going to be stronger than that voice? She wasn't. And when I walked across that stage, she apologized to me. She said, "I am so sorry. I was wrong." And that interaction should have set the path for me, because it's very much I graduated art school. Even when I was working as a designer at an agency, "You're not good enough. You'll never do this. You're going to be relegated to the financial department if you ever get a job." Didn't listen to that. Started my own business, and it was just, oh, I can do whatever I want to do. I don't need to listen to you. People are going to get it. And so that's just been the truth for me.
Right.
So,
And that's it. And I applaud you for that. Many people have the wrong notion that if people are dropouts, that they're not going to amount to anything. But but with you, it was what happened, but you were still serious about what you wanted to do. It's not that you didn't want to finish your education, but you knew that anything else that you were getting exposed to was only going to keep you from
yeah.
being able to move forward.
I'm a published poet. I'm a writer. And in high school, in my Florida high school, the language that I used to write about William Faulkner was so advanced that I was flagged for plagiarism. And so it's like, even when I was my true self, that was false. And I did not have the language of gaslighting. I did not have the language of, you do not understand me. That doesn't make me wrong.
Right.
So if you drop out, if you quit, there is very much the truth of, this situation is not right for me, and I remove this so that I can move towards. You're not necessarily quitting or giving up if you are connecting to something that brings you to your truth.
Exactly. I applaud that. Many people have a hard time conceiving that.
Yep.
So fabulous. And actually, in the notes here, I applaud you also for your self-knowledge, your intuition, your self-recognition,
yep,
and your self-support. You know, we all have to have some of that to some extent. Some people have a difficult time allowing themselves to do that. You know,
If I had not done that, I mean, look, I've been in therapy since I was 10. When I tell you my mother did not like me, my mother did not like me. So she dragged me to therapy at 10 to be like, no one's going to like you. You have to figure this out. And in reality, I was going through my period. Like it wasn't like a thing. Um, but I'm very much the, okay, well, if someone doesn't like me, I should figure that out. I should rework these things. So right away, I was self-aware. What are the coping mechanisms? How can I be more aware of who I am at too young of an age? Um, but it allowed me to walk away from things and be like, that doesn't feel like me, and you're wrong. So bye. But still, I mean, just because I can say this now doesn't mean there weren't tears and ugly crying and like sad movies playing with like, I mean, for real, it all happens.
right. Life happens to everyone.
Yes, yes. And what matters is you do a self inventory that says, this is me before this situation, this is me during this situation. What is different? The situation. And so it's like, then you're free to say, okay, doop, doop, out you go. And then you move on.
Mm-hmm.
You move on. I had a job after college for 6 months. And never was I more depressed. Even before I dropped out of high school, I was so depressed because it was like I had worked so hard to get out of my home life. I had worked so hard to get into art school. I had worked so hard through art school. And here I am at 24 being like, this cannot possibly be life. I cannot work, wake up at 7 a.m., take myself to an office, sit in a cubicle, feel like I'm wasting my time because ain't nobody's going to give me the amount of work that's going to keep me satisfied but me. And feel like that's my life.
Now, was that job connected to what you went to school for, college?
Yes. But what I connected with in the college experience and what the industry offers designers is so incongruent that that's what started my business. That's what it was when I'm like, you don't get a spike through the crown chakra from God being like, this is what you're doing. And then feel like, oh, yeah, no, that was just like a mood. No. So I listened to that instead of the creative director who was like, you can't be trusted. Now, walked out. The smile on my face when I did the exit interview, I must have looked insane because it was like, I don't care. I hate this place. I hate you. I hate this job. I hate everything. Bye. Walked away from 6 figures.
Right.
Walked away. And my mom is like pooping herself, being like, you took out all these loans and you're going to quit your job. And it was right before the economy crashed in 2008. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to figure this out.
Right.
I'm going to figure this out. I do not know what is going on, but this does not make me happy. And I deserve to be happy. And that's it.
Exactly.
So yeah,
exactly. And so I was going to ask you, I was going to tell us why you left a 6-figure job, but
because Tide, I was working with Ford, I was working with Hess, I was working with T. Rowe Price, and the things that I was doing there, I mean, you talk about a waste of time. This was a waste, and it's not my ego. It's just no one needs this. This is not what's needed in terms of what design can do. And I'm so passionate about design. Like, I'm sure you could see it, but I don't even think I'm fully expressing the craziness that I have about design. And I was like, smaller businesses need the work that I can do. Smaller businesses that need the support to get to where Tide is. Tide doesn't need an ad campaign. Like, they make billions of, they're good. But independent businesses, that's where the help is needed. So I left. And I got, I was living with my mom, super cool. And I got an email from someone in Eastern Europe that needed female designers for their female clients. But whatever, it was like my first freelance thing. And so it was the first time where, yes, I am trusted. Yes, I do good work. And I can do that from wherever I live. The antiquated system is not needed for me to succeed.
Right. Exactly.
And that was 2009.
Kudos. And again, I teach my clients, everyone has fears. But when it comes to changes, like you've made some big changes, your curiosity has to be greater than that fear to take that leap to do it. There was something there that curiosity, that passion from within said, you know what? I know there's something else. There's something better. And that was so much. You were so hungry for that's what made you do it. No matter what you had to go without, changing from six figures to dropping, getting personal clients, that's a big shift there.
Yep.
But your passion, you had that passion.
And it's one of those things, I don't know if the people listening are going to relate to this, but I'm going to tell you, no matter how old I was, the justification of my passion as being an excuse because I was immature or I was 18 or you're 24. Yeah, I am 30 fucking 7. Okay? Like, this passion is as much of me as my bones are at this point.
Right.
And so I don't hear any of that. I don't hear any of that. I don't hear you can't. I don't hear that's impossible. It's like, that's cute. Watch.
Yep, exactly.
And it's like, we were living in Los Angeles. This is like, oh, I'm so sorry. I have an alarm to feel the feelings of completion.
Hey, that's always a good thing to actually self-evaluate.
So even when I've exceeded the expectations I've put for myself, there is still always that upkeep to remind myself, no, let's take another self-inventory. What have I succeeded in? Because I don't like the comfort zone. I do not enjoy complacency. I am here to stretch the boundaries of what it means to be a human. Clear, amen, the end.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in Los Angeles 6 years ago, we were really broke. Okay, we were really broke. We did stir-fried dinners of broccoli and cauliflower on rice. We shopped for groceries at the dollar store. And we were at a Christmas party for my husband's job. And some guy came up to me and we were talking about how much we loved our lipsticks or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I really haven't gone shopping in like 5 years. And he's like, I'm not that poor, and walked away. And it's like, you have no idea what I am building here, pal. But that's not for him. But every time I look at like a shirt that has an armpit hole or my leggings have holes in them, and it's like, that's it. Like, I don't lie about that. I'm not here to put a front on that.
Right. But, and let me just, preface what that, means to me. Everybody knows the name Dave Ramsey when it comes to money. Dave Ramsey says, live now like no one else lives. Go without things so later you can live like nobody else lives. And that's what you need to do when you are on the mission and you have your journey to goal achievement and what you want to achieve. Some things go lower on the totem pole.
Yep.
Because your focus is what you need to do to get you where you need to be.
So let me share with you where I'm working on. Let me share with you. Because Puree Fantastico, as a design studio, is a transition step. I'm here to bridge design thinking, emotional cultivation, and critical thinking so that we can be more intentional and empathetic in our culture. Like, it is the full embodiment of both the designer and the anthropologist. And I have been working for 12 years, since 2008, on a platform that does this for people. It launches in 90 days.
Fantastic. That's so exciting.
That is like, because I've been working on this every day. I trained myself to wake up between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. so that I could get my client work in and spend time with my husband and do normal things.
Mm-hmm.
But putting my own passion first. This is important. This is so important. Put the things you love to do first, because you are giving yourself a beautiful gift. You are treating your soul as if it is the most important thing. And don't worry about having time for clients, because you will. You will. It fills up your cup so fully that I have time to do work with all of the clients she told you about, literally thousands, thousands. And I have done this work. I wrote a 450,000 word database.
Wonderful.
I designed my own software to house this data. And then I designed the entire experience, wrote it all, did all the research. I mean, it's a Jenny Ambrose production that has to be coded by a hardcore coder.
Fantastic. Oh my goodness.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But you talk about believer to achiever. This is not something that's ever been on the internet before. This is not something that has ever existed. And it's like, it should have. So I did the work to do it.
Okay. So now it got me wondering, what is this? What is it? How
It's a
will it,
website.
how will it help me? How will it help our listeners and viewers?
Well, ideally, it takes very abstract, difficult concepts and shows you how you interact with and experience these concepts every day without thinking about it. So if you can think about it, be aware of it, and then find how you can make those applications work for you, it's exactly how I brand. It's exactly how I deliver strategy. It's just a larger sentence that says, look how deep this goes, everyone. Look how much we connect with this. And so if we can be aware of it, we can use it. And if we can be aware of it, we're less susceptible on others manipulating us.
So that's just like the levels of consciousness.
Yes.
It's exactly the same thing. I
But
get
people don't
you,
realize
sister. I
it.
get you. Okay, I
But
get it.
people don't realize it. And you would be so surprised at the disconnects within the design industry. Um, I'm not a superficial person. I enjoy things looking pretty, but things make sense and things work and connect with people and then also are pretty. And this is where I live. I don't care about the Pantone color of the year. And I'm fine if design wants to have that. Great. Let's make some room and we could think deep thoughts. And that's where I'm living.
Right.
That's where I live.
Right. But it's out of passion.
Yes.
And by doing that, right, it's out of passion, but not only that, and what I talk to people about for themselves is because it's the passion, but you're also serving someone. You're serving,
Yes.
and when you're working with individual entrepreneurs and smaller companies rather than the big ones, that's more rewarding for you. And that's
It
what it's all
sustains
about.
me. Yes.
Right.
And right now I'm really happy around working with people who are bringing their own vision to life, because I understand the loneliness, the dark path of your soul as you connect with the pieces and bring it to something that is recognizable or digestible or whatever that is. And so that's a journey. That's a journey.
It most certainly is.
It validates all of the things I have cultivated in doing that journey. I mean, I do strategic development because I broke my brain trying to show everyone how I handle design. How, for me, it's beyond a visual process. It's actually a geometric construction and a philosophical construction. And people are like, what? But yes. And so showing people this is how you can view it, this is how you can understand it, that was
Oh, exactly.
huge. And it took, I would say, I failed 7 times before I found a workable process. And I would absolutely want to give up. I would absolutely feel like I was going crazy. I questioned whether or not I was experiencing schizophrenia because when you see something that is so clear and the people that you love and you trust and respect are like, that's so dumb. I don't even know how you said those words. I said, you're dumb. And then just went off and did my own thing.
Right.
But it was like, oh crap, that's not going to work. Let me, And so when people say that's incredible that you've done so much work, all I think of is my own life story where it's like, yes, and you see me happy. I can communicate in English. We are super good. I did as much work to the self as I ever did for this website that's launching.
Right. Right. And kudos, seriously, because again, the level at which the passion that you have, but you had to bring it not only out of yourself, but now the how you're bringing this presentation, and I don't know exactly how the presentation's going to be because I don't know if it's a video or if it's you know what I mean, but the presentation, so you brought it out of your mind, created the presentation to bring the presentation to us, to the world.
Yep.
and
Yep. And
and
that's
for that to happen, that is quite a journey. And I will tell you that anyone who has a passion that they are trying to achieve, and bring it to reality, not everyone understands that passion and the craziness and will look at you and go, what is,
yes.
what are you
And let me
thinking?
interrupt
What's
you.
going on?
Let me interrupt you. If you are experiencing this, you are on the innovative path.
Exactly.
Okay. People look at me like I got tentacles going on, I got fireworks going out here, and I do, and that's okay.
Exactly.
And so when someone gives me that like, haha, I'm on the right path, because I'm here to do innovative things. I'm not here to do what you're comfortable with. I'm here to shake it up, change it up, make it better.
And that's, that is fabulous. And what I have a peer-to-peer mentoring and accountability program who you may not be in the same genre as the person that the people that you're in the group with, but these people are also on their journey, they're focused and on their way to achieving their own dreams and goals.
Yes.
And what happens is in this group, I have like 5 people per group. And these people are your cheerleaders. Say you're in the group, they're your cheerleaders. They get to know Jenny and what your mission is and what you're trying to achieve. And they're the sounding board. They're the eyes and ears to bounce things off of. They can get to understand you're crazy. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
They're, vice versa for each other, because sometimes we just don't have that in our family and friends right around us, because they love us unconditionally, they love us and they support us, but they're not that type A personality or that personality to keep focus and hold each other accountable. They're not holding, you, because if you tell the people in this group, okay, this next week I want to do this, and this, next week you come to the group and they're saying, did you do this? And if you didn't, what happened? Did you need to shift something? And so on. So that's how it works for my people. Simply because, again, not everyone has that in their immediate.
I definitely did not. And God bless my husband. Sometimes people need a little bit of training in order to be the support that you need. And so all that is you recognizing yourself, you recognizing what works for you. And then if they love you and they're unconditionally supportive of you, you could say, hey, look, I'm doing this. I can't tell you why, but I'm doing this. So if you could say things, or if you could time me, or whatever it is that you need, make it a simple step. People are gladly to help you. They really will. It's just they don't often understand. And it's not their responsibility to understand your vision. So don't get mad.
Right.
it's your responsibility to recognize it and then say, okay, I hear you, I see you, but I'm gonna birth this. And then you do. Because, like, could you imagine Jim Henson? I love the Muppets. Okay, I live for the Muppets. But it's like, I'm gonna bring a frog that tap dances and plays the harmonica, and he's gonna be in love with a pig, but also best friends with a bear. Like, and then what's Gonzo? How do you explain what Gonzo is?
Exactly.
But he did it. That was his vision. So, and we all recognize that and love that and celebrate that. So that's all. It's just tending to it.
Right, exactly. And that's fantastic. And so much creation, so much energy. I'm loving it. I'm loving that, and I applaud you for what you have done and what you have coming down the line. So, do you have anything that you want to offer our viewers?
I would love to. I have a game that I made to help people with their archetype blend. So when you think about branding, you think about strategy. One of the great ways to help frame this is through the Jungian archetypes. We have these in the warrior, the caretaker, the lover, the magician. They all sort of bring their own flavor. And I'm of the belief that we are not just one, but we are actually a combination, depending on the situation, depending on how we talk, how we look, how we operate. So there is the free game. It is fun. And I'm working on a larger course because it was so popular that I'm like, all right, I got to take this. I got to show people how to do this. So that's coming. My goal is September, but the free game is up there now.
Exciting. So where can people find it?
PureeFantastico.com. It's right on the top there as like a banner thing.
Oh, so exciting. Gonna have to check that out. Everybody,
I hope so. I hope you love it.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for joining me. And remember, everyone that comes to the Patricia Jo Grover Show, we turn believers into achievers. So I have gifts for everybody that's watching. If you watch the video right as we're finishing up here, and until next time, it was great to have you with us. Thank
you so much.
Jenny. All right.